video, we're going to talk all about my channeled messages from Spirit and how you can learn the signs of channeling messages from your loved ones. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Happy Mecca 1111 channel, where we are committed to happiness, connectedness, and being you authentically and unapologetically. So on today's video, I'm going to try to do an unfiltered, unedited reflection vlog on life, loss, the physical realm, the spiritual realm, and specifically talk about DMX since he passed today. Another thing that I'll talk about, because I had a very psychic experience with his passing, is life in the physical form being temporary. Well, life, or basically life, because there's life in the energetic realm, is eternal. I talked about this in the last video that I did, where I read from my journal, where I was talking about how I felt 5 years ago after mourning the loss of some family members. Fast forward 5 years later in 2021, and yet I'm mourning even more. I'm mourning more losses of different things. Family members and friends who have passed. Life that is so changed. Life in general, obviously with the pandemic and different things, is so different. So there's a loss of what life used to be. Careers and things of that nature. Lots of different things have changed, right, for all of us over the years. And what's so interesting is there's a choice that we have. A choice to embrace it, and yes, feel your emotions, feel sad and upset when you need to, but there's also a choice to be happy and to celebrate every moment, knowing that you never know what's next. Now, I'm going to contradict myself, because I just mentioned the theme of psychic abilities. So to a certain extent, there are some things that can come through that you can know. Sometimes there is information that you can know before it happens. We all have intuitive abilities, even if you don't identify as psychic, even if you don't believe in that term. All of us have intuitive abilities. It's just basically on a spectrum, where you have some people where it's like lower natural intuition and some people are higher. So the lower intuition means you might have to work harder to develop it, but it's still a skill that can be developed. If you're here on the high end, that means you have to do very little development, and psychic information is just popping into your awareness. I'm more on this end. I'm so much on this end that I have to try to block it, because I feel, or I used to feel, that it was too much information to come through, and information that I didn't want to know, such as people passing. I didn't want to know about people being sick before they were sick, or I didn't want validation of that. I didn't want to know, again, yes, like I just mentioned, of someone, potentially passing and then actually passing in life. That's not something that no one wants to, but we got to think higher than just the negative, than just the surface, and think about the bigger gift and ability of using intuition for the greater good of all, right? So what I'm going to talk about when it comes to my experience with DMX is how I channeled some songs recently. And the last song that I channeled was DMX, and I thought it was actually my past over loved ones who were still speaking to me via songs, and I just believe it was my general psychic knowledge, knowing the future before it happened. So let me explain it to you. That bird is really loud. That bird has something to say. Okay, birdie. All right, is this your video? Is this mine? Okay, all right. So there's a few songs that I actually have been wanting to do a video on even before today. But weeks ago, when I first got the understanding from my past over loved ones to do this video, I wasn't ready. I was crying more frequently. I'm still, allowing emotions to pass as I'm embracing my psychic abilities and intuition even more. So there's still emotions that are going through me, because I'm realizing that to embrace my gift, I really have to move on from my past. And there was a part of me that wasn't allowing myself to mourn and to really look at the experiences the losses that I've already been through, right? So in March, as I'm doing all that reflection and really allowing all this stuff to just really move through me, which March also is the month where I have the most death anniversaries of people close to me. People close to me are people who've had significance in my life recently is what I'll say too. So the songs, just so you know, your past over loved ones, your angels, the angelic realm, the spirit realm, is always sending all of us messages. It's not, all of us, right? But some of us are just tuned in more than others. Some of us are paying attention and responding more than others. Some of us are open more than others. And so I don't know why. I'm sure there's someone who has an explanation about it, but I don't know why music is such an easy way for them to manipulate and to actually speak to us. But it is. Songs and music is, I think it's I don't know why. I'm not even going to get into that. Also numbers. So like a lot of us see repeating numbers, and that's actually a very easy way for them to send messages to us as well. When you start saying 333 a lot, 1111, 222. Hence why my channel's name is Happy Nessa 1111. So I'm going to go over these songs and talk about the meaning, and then tie in how my psychic experience with being aware of DMX passing before, or not necessarily, I wasn't aware that he was going to pass, but he was on my mind so much, and I did not know why. Right? I had no clue. Here are the songs. So the first song that came through my radar was Back to Life, Back to Reality. Now, what's interesting about psychic abilities and intuition, sometimes information comes through, and it's not something that you're really familiar with, right? So some people who are actually trying to be more intuitive, they turn on the logical mind too much, and they overanalyze what's coming through, and they kind of miss the whole message. So what I've learned, because I'm a very logical person as well, what I've learned is that when you're really channeling intuition and spirit, you're actually turning the logic down, because spirit and intuition is creative, it's flowing, it's not confined to the boundaries of logic. Just think about it, like psychic abilities and spiritual abilities defy logic, right? Logic says things are this way all the time, whereas spirituality is beyond logic. It's beyond the physical. It's beyond, the restrictions of this physical realm on earth. So the first song that came through was Back to Life, Back to Reality, which is a song that I am somewhat aware of, because I don't know how old I was. I was a kid when that song was popular, but I know my mom, I guess, played it sometime. I guess she played it. I really don't know. I just know it sounded familiar, but as I'm singing it, I'm like, I don't know how I know the song exactly. So for me, when I know it's spirit talking to me, it's literally like a song will pop in my head, especially if it's not one that I know. So the first song that was coming through me, and what I've noticed, this has probably only been in the last, I'll say about a year and a half, is when a song is coming through me intuitively, through spirit, it's like it comes out of nowhere. It's not a song that I just recently heard. It's typically not a song that I even listen to like that, or something that's like one of my favorites per se. So this song, the first song, is Back to Life, Back to Reality by Soul to Soul, and However Do You Want Me. So the song goes, back, I'm not going to sing because I can't sing, back to life, back to reality, however do you want me, however do you need me. This song has some other words, but it's very repetitive. It says it a lot. Back to life, back to reality, however do you want me, however do you need me. So I was like, first of all, what does this song mean, and who is sending me this message? Well, when I dug deeper, I realized, one, I was very close to someone's death anniversary. It was his first death anniversary, someone that passed just last March. And so, one, I felt intuitively it was probably him, because I had the experience of getting reminders about people around their death anniversary. Very clear and repetitive reminders that are connected to a person who has passed, which is typically my sign to remember them in a positive and celebratory way, instead of a sad and mourning way, which, again, sadness has its place for a period. But if we allow sadness to take over, that's when we go from a sad moment to actual depression, right? So when I dug deeper and discussed it even with another friend who's pretty intuitive, the message was that our Passover loved ones want us to get back to life and back to reality. And they want us to know that they're always there for us. However, do you want me? In the spirit realm, when you lose people, they literally become your, they are added, they are an additional guardian angel. So a lot of people have talked about this. And I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of why I'm more comfortable with getting on camera about this, because when I first started like really embracing my gifts and having more clearly psychic and spiritual experiences, I was a bit afraid that, you know, there wasn't enough people out there like me. But now I realize that people online, there are so many people with the same experiences. And it's like you cannot deny it, right? You just can't deny it. So, but the message is that when someone passes, obviously it is sad. So we can mourn, we can be human. But at some point, you are supposed to celebrate their life. You're supposed to get back to your own life. They want to see you happy. They want you to do the things that you always wanted to do. And remember them. And well, let me go back and be grateful for the fact that you even had any experience with them. So there's that famous quote that I always talk about that I don't remember word for word, where it's like, I can cry because it's over, or I can smile because it happened. Well, they want us to smile because it happened. And the first song was just that. Although at the time I was pretty sad. I was pretty sad because this was my first death anniversary of someone that I had a really big psychic moment about, meaning I kind of knew they were going to pass years before they passed. And so it's hard for me to distinguish where my responsibility lies in that, as far as what more I could have done, which honestly, most of the time now that I've worked on this, I realize that even if I know things about people being sick and near death before it happens, doesn't mean I'm going to change the result. It just means I can help. I can make a difference in that experience. But for me, I'm like, no, if I know this, I want to help them live longer, much longer. Yeah, maybe I help them live a couple days, couple of weeks, months, maybe even a few years, but I want people to just live a full life. And most of the people that I'm referring to have died rather young. And so, yes, that was the message from the Back to Life, Back to Reality song. Like, our loved ones want us to get back to our lives. Like, smile because it happened. Don't cry too much. Cry a little bit if you need to. It's cleansing. But don't focus on the crying because it's over. Focus on the celebrating, the smiling because it happened. And so one of the things that me and the kids do is we always celebrate. We kind of have like a party. It's a great reason to have an extra glass of wine or two. It's a great reason to have some cake. It's a great reason to really celebrate that they transition that day, that death anniversary. That's the day that they transition to the spirit realm. It's the day that we gained another angel. So we celebrate that now. So the other song that came through, that comes through frequently, this is a really frequent song, is, and I actually don't even know who the original creator of this song is. I know that when I look it up on YouTube, I see Aretha Franklin and Marvin Gaye. But it's the, you're all I need to get by. You're all I need to get by. That song to me was very instinctively, I knew what they were saying. It's kind of just in the words. Whenever I hear that song, it's my angels telling me I'm right here. And the connection to the spirit realm, connection to God, to angels, to life and energy beyond the physical is all we need. So in the physical realm, when there's a lot of physical things being taken away, physical bodies, cars, houses, jobs, things that are lost, there's a lot of there's a perception that we've lost control, and that's what leads to depression, when we don't feel like we have any control or choices or power. So that song, You're All I Need to Get By, to me is spirit always telling me that all I need is all within. All I need is spirit. All I need is my connection. All I need is love. All I need is really the present moment, because that's where I channel. And that's where we all connect to the spiritual, non-physical realm. That's why meditation is so powerful. That's why being present, really, really, really present, is so powerful, because it's like you open up a portal. That's what's going on. Third song, You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson. You are not alone. I am here with you. Even though you're far away, my love's here to stay. I can't sing. So, you are not alone. I am here with you. Even though you're far away, my love is here to stay. That's another clear message. When someone I know just last year was in the hospital, and I had already visited them and kind of intuitively knew, well, I won't go into details. Visited them, things weren't looking too good. And when I went back home and was somewhat emotional, actually at that time I wasn't that emotional. I was actually very inspirational and pretty grounded in myself. But I was trying to support that person even when I wasn't physically there. So when I wasn't physically there, I was actually singing that song to him. I was saying, you're not alone, I'm here with you, because I knew that he was in hospital a lot by himself as he was living his last days. Now turn around, that song plays on repeat from him, and I think my other angels, to remind me that I'm never alone, you know, and that we don't, again, have to be too sad that it's over, because technically it's not even over. That statement, that quote that I'm mentioning, doesn't even really apply to life and death, because what our loved ones do is they transition. They transition from physical to non-physical, so they're still here. I've mentioned in other videos, there's things that you can do, and you can ask them, show me signs that you're still here. And a lot of them already are, and we're just not paying attention, or we're not opening up to it. So it's more of a transition, right? So you are not alone, I am here with you. Your guides, your angels are always here with you. I'm telling you. You don't believe me? I can tell you, you can take a scientific approach to it, because I went through a phase where I didn't believe in anything. And I was so logical, because logic got me so far in life and academics and achievement. I was like, spirituality is not logical. But then when I took a scientific approach and I said, well, if prayer works, if God is real, then if I pray, or if I do law of attraction, or if I do certain things, then I'm going to have a greater frequency of certain things that's happening. I'm going to have a greater frequency of having things that I want to happen, specific things. And that's exactly what happened. And that's why I'm a firm believer in the spirit realm. So get scientific with it if you want. If you're someone who hasn't had that connection to the spirit realm, but you want it, you can ask for that. You can say, show me signs. You can, but you got to be open. That's the biggest thing. If you're not open enough, if you're out here to prove that spirituality is a fake, then guess what? That's the life we live. Life is always going to reflect what you believe, right? So you got to be open enough to challenge yourself if you're not a believer by chance. So, last song. Yeah, so the last song, oh, that's what I wanted to mention. So the Back to Life, Back to Reality song, I wrote down one of the specific things it says in the song. It says back to present time. Because when we are mourning, when we're suffering, when we are in depression and anxiety, basically we're not in the present moment. Anxiety is overanalyzing the future and perceiving all the negative. Depression is overanalyzing the past and remembering all the negative, right? So you're not in the present. The present moment is that portal. It's a portal where you're open to receive a lot of blessings and a lot of magical things, mystical, magical, logic-defying experience. So when it comes to DMX and my psychic moment with him, here's what happened. Right now, at the time of recording, it's Friday, the day of his death, Friday, April 9th. When I started hearing DMX in my head play on repeat, it was early last week, and no time, I will say in the last couple of years, I'm going to be honest, I have not played DMX. I love DMX. I grew up with listening to him as a kid, and as a young kid, in my adolescence, and in my I'm so young adult, but just many years ago. So it's not someone that I've listened to anytime recently. I personally don't watch a lot of the news because I'm very sensitive and empathic. So I try my best not to watch too much news. I haven't been watching news. I don't go on social media to absorb too much. I just try to post a little bit and get off just to protect myself and my energetic boundaries. So all this to say, unlike a lot of people who were aware of some things, maybe about 6 days before he passed, I was aware of nothing. But about 10 days, I'd say about 10 to 11 days before he passed, I kept hearing his song on repeat. One more road to cross, one more risk to take. First of all, I kept asking why that song got an all song. That's not one of my favorite DMX's songs. That's not a song that I listen to like that. So I was like, okay, no, this is spirit. So when it kept playing repetitively, that's a sign for me. When I hear a song and it's like almost obsessive, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is just not like, it's just not like me, my personality. This is kind of coming from the spirit realm when it's on repeat. Another thing that happens is when I literally just start to sing a song out of nowhere. Like, it's just like, out of me. I know that spirit too. It's like, it's just a connection that just comes naturally. That was a bug. But you need to go. You need to go. It's my video. So the song that came to my head was One More Road to Cross, One More Risk to Take. Gotta live my life like this, one more move to make. So it kept playing, and I was like, okay, is this, I don't want to say their names. Is it so-and-so? Is it so-and-so? Like, who is sending me this message? What does it mean? I looked at the lyrics to the song, and I still didn't know. I was like, okay, I guess it's one of my passed over loved ones, and this song has a message. I get it. One more road to cross, one more risk to take. Don't live too far in the future. Don't live too much in the past. Live in the present. Think about the next move, right? So then fast forward to Friday, April 9th, today, at the time of recording this video, when my friends text me. That's how often I get a lot of my messages. I get it through other people. I'm kind of late sometimes, even if it's only a few hours late or a day late. But a lot of the times the major news comes to me late because I'm intentionally not watching it. So my friend texts me, I'm sad about DMX. What a major loss. I'm like, no. I was like, did he die? That's the first thing that came to my mind, because obviously she said sad and lost, and obviously his song was on repeat. So when she said that, I will be honest, now that I'm at this stage in life where I'm allowing my emotions to flow, I'm able to cry or be sad, but then authentically move back to happiness, back to peace, back to being grounded and just embracing all of life. So I did cry. I cried for about 2 minutes right in front of my girls, and I let them know why I was crying, and they were all hugging me, which is so good. I love their support. In the past, I didn't always want to cry around them, but now as I'm embracing more of my emotions and teaching others to really live authentically, I want them to see it's okay to cry, and that you just don't have to let it take over you. So I cried for a couple of minutes, and then spoke to a couple of people about it. Told my husband, like, dude, like, that's why that song was on repeat. Like, I didn't know. I was completely clueless that he was in the hospital. So I had my sadness, because obviously it's always sad when someone passes. But then again, I'm going to get to celebrating his legacy, the impact that he made. I looked up some of his most recent videos, the depth of his lyrics. On the surface, some people might be like, wow, aggressive. But there was depth to his lyrics. And also, someone like me who always talks about be you, be happy, be authentic. I feel like he's one of the most authentic people. Just himself out there. And lastly, they're talking about that more than likely it was an overdose, possibly. I will say that from my experience and my understanding, so many people who are actually very intuitive, spiritual, psychic, and sensitive emotionally, they're often people who are trying to escape the present moment, and often people who are trying to escape with drugs. So whether it's alcohol or an addiction, whether it's alcohol, sex, food, any other type of drug, another type of behavior that becomes addictive, you're trying to escape the present moment because you are so sensitive and actually connected to so much information. You're connected to the collective conscious. Okay, bird. So that's it, guys. That's it. I want you all to know that you are very psychic, and that you should be celebrating life. Life can seem scary. At this time of recording, we got a lot of death up in our face right now. Not just in our personal life, just in the greater global community, and I get that. And yet we can still celebrate the fact that there's so many people still living and still thriving and still healthy and still prospering. We have to balance it all, guys, okay? And embrace it all. Embrace the fact that all of us are intuitive and highly psychic beings. Some of us just have to not practice at all and have the psychic information come through. And some of us have to practice a lot. All right, that's it. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and or sharing to support the channel. That would mean a lot. This channel is all about mental health, physical health, and family vlogs. Me, my husband, and 5 daughters, and all that we do in life, okay? Thank you. Be you, be happy. Bye.